Welcome to another Do Not Disturb Dog Walk. Do you know what I thought would be funny? As if the car refused to unlock. This is the moment of truth. Ah, yes, it worked. Look at Quigley wearing its red collar. I'll tell you why. It's because we found that red collar in the car when we emptied it out today. Yep, we emptied the car out. All of our stuff is gone from it. Except for, I went and collected water from a local freshwater spring, and I've got my bag of tricks in there, and that's my man bag. But everything else is gone out of the car. I'm trying to work out how to lock the car. You'll find out why in a minute. I just want to see if this won't open now that I've put the lock on it. That's good. And I was thinking I was going to have a bit of trouble locking the car because it actually won't lock. Yeah. At the moment, that worked. That's the trick for that. And you'll see why. We've emptied the car out because it suffered a collision. So we're sending it to the repairers for inspection, and then how insurance companies work. They either can and will and pay to repair this for us, or they'll write the vehicle off and tell us, too bad, we'll just give you a big pile of money and you have to go buy a new car. So yeah, I only thought that I should record this at the beginning of this episode of the dog walk. Because this car has been seen many times in many of our recordings. I think I'd already locked that. In any case, I'm not even sure if it opens. We haven't even tried to open it. This is the door that the computer brain of the car says it won't. We can't use the remote to lock the car because of that door. I did actually lean over and lock it from the inside. That, I'm not even prepared to test if that worked. But hey, the car's locked safe. Yeah. Yes, so the car's been seen many times in our past recordings. And this, I've decided to just record that for you because we might be all kissing it goodbye and getting a new car. We'll see what happens. Right, look at the state of this place. That's the other reason that I decided to record here, because, well, the weather's been okay today, but it only just let up the end of the day yesterday. This region has suffered one of the worst storms in a while. And so there's flooding and carnage, and that's what you get to see on this dog walk with Quigley and I. We've come for a walk in Seaview to check out the carnage, and we can already see it. Obviously, the water here was pretty ferocious, and all sorts of crap has washed up onto the path here. Okay, so we've done a little bit more time travelling because the recording had stopped. So it wasn't an intentional, it wasn't see if I can get my mouth working. It was not an intentional time travelling right there. That's what I call it usually when I need to push pause on the recording. So we've got a couple of rules that we like to follow when it comes to making our YouTube recordings. The first rule is never mind the 6 o'clock news, which exists as a rule quite simply because although I may blather and skite and yappity yap, talk too much maybe on these recordings, I like to keep it non-controversial and chill and relaxed and more of a narration of our lives and talking about what we're seeing, hearing, feeling and doing, and not talking about stuff that might be, or probably is, on the 6 o'clock news. It's about keeping it a controversy-free and safe place for all of you viewers. And us too, because I realise that it can't be... I do these dog walks for the sake of our enriching our lives and getting exercise, which is getting out in nature, which is good for our mental health, etc. And that's why we have that guideline, which is, it's cool, because I find it pretty easy not to talk about that stuff. I don't permit myself to do so, which is great. Well, no chance of a copyright strike with that music that's playing over there across the road. Some people... The cool thing about that storage facility over there is that they allow bands to, come and plug in their amplifiers and stuff and make a bit of noise. I don't think there's any invitation to people to chuck a deep freeze in there and run a freezer 24 hours, but I could be wrong. Look at this, the water damage here. Intense. So you're only going to see more and more carnage from here on out. The flooding around here was quite extensive, and it has been flooded a few times over the years that I've been hanging around here. And the reason I feel like it's important to come and walk here again, even though I sort of mostly avoid it, is because we've recorded here plenty of times in the past, and so if you want to look up our Seaview episodes, you'll find that what this place normally looks like, and I thought it would be cool to come and record the aftermath. This is one of our favourite playtime little beach places that we like to bring the dogs to. Oh, it smells. Yeah, I always think it's a bit of a shame that we can't share the smell of place with you, or the good feeling of the warmth of the sun. Stuff like that. Okay, resume transmission, and it's a good opportunity to segue into the second guideline on our YouTube channel, which is it's got a slogan that goes with it. It says, "Show us the poop," which is ball up my hands in a fist like this, like it's like on your behalf. I can feel you all being mad that you don't get to see the poop, and so that's why the slogan exists. Show us the poop. I'm trying to make it a meme within this channel. It's as if all of you viewers are protesting that you don't get to see the poop. Yeah, so I just realised pretty much straight away when I started making these dog walk recordings that when Quigley poops, he deserves his private time off camera. And I do too, because I have to deal with it. When you're a dog owner, you have to make that poop safe, whether you put it in dig a hole and bury it, or whether you have to put it in a bag and carry it to a bin. That's all stuff that I don't want to put on the recordings. So, we hit the pause button and come on, Quigs. But otherwise, you don't get. You might complain. You might type into the comments, "Show us the poop," because you're mad that you don't get to see the poop. That's fine. I kind of pretty much make no apologies for it. It's just a policy that I have. So you get to enjoy all of honestly, we just record pretty much non-stop as much of the dog walk as we can without needing to push the pause button most of the time. Well, it might be hard for you to make out what people have written on the beach here, but it starts with Jesus loves you with love hearts at each end, and then somebody else, I assume somebody else has come along and went, oh hell no, and in protest they've written, no, the devil does, with an exclamation mark. It's just making an observation. I can't relate to any of you all personally about my own religious views. I don't think that's really something that I need to talk about. Well, the beach actually looks alright. Hey, all this carnage just floated right up into here, but that's about it. Quigley, haere mai. Hikoi o te kuri, hikoi. Right, well that's all the usual talking points covered. The usual mandatory talking points. Never mind the 6 o'clock news and show us the poop. You don't get to see poop. Yeah, so all of this rocks and stuff and everything scattered here is all unnatural. It's usually a pretty nice clear pathway in here for us to walk through. I don't know if we'll ever use the red collar again. I just wanted to show it off today. It's actually a little bit too big for him. I tried to reduce the size of it. I've reduced it as much as I can. It's still just a little bit too loose. So yeah, I can't attach to him with the collar like I do with his usual collars. But when we're using the harness, there's no reason he can't just wear it like it's a fashionable item. Wow. So many stones. I just realised, if you were watching at the beginning and you're watching now, if you just joined us kind of thing, like at the beginning of the recording I was saying, I was showing the car after it's been crashed into, and I didn't even explain what happened. That's what I'm realising right now. So I was driving it and it definitely wasn't my fault. So somebody inconsiderately failed to give way to another car that was, travelling towards us. And, sorry, I should say truck. It was a truck that was coming towards us. Not a huge one like that, but, a heavy little thing, little tipper truck. And the guy he jammed on his brakes, got a fright, jammed on his brakes, attempting to avoid crashing into another inconsiderate motorist who had failed to give way, and then lost control of his own vehicle and crashed into us instead. Now, I've joked a couple of times of telling people about this, that he should have just crashed into that car instead of us, but that's how it goes. He would have liked to not crashed into us, but he did. Yeah, and so our vehicle, I was slowing our vehicle practically to a stop at the time, I couldn't do anything to avoid it. Absolutely nothing. Just sitting there like a sitting duck. I wasn't completely stopped, but I had like almost stopped in a turning bay. And yeah, the guy driving the truck, poor bugger, slammed on his brakes and the back end of his truck slid out sideways a little bit, and he tried to steer it away from us, but no matter how much steering he did, it just got worse and sideswiped practically the entire length of the car. Now you might wonder why there's a television over here. It's like, how did the TV, why didn't that just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Did that cup pop out of the ocean? I can tell you, Quigley and I were doing a walk along here the other day, and that TV was already here. So tomorrow, I forget what time, but there's a local crew called the Petone Beach Cleanup Crew. They've got a Facebook page and everything, a group I think, and that's Petone Beach over there, and they regularly get together to walk the beach and pick up trash, which is good because I don't think the local government does. Somebody's got to do it, right? And honestly, trash just floats in here off the ocean from wherever the hell else in the harbour it comes from, and that's where all this rubbish comes from, out of the sea. Or maybe it was in the seawall here and got blasted out by the, the very high water, the massive waves that were rocking this place just a few days ago. Look at this beautiful truck. Bling! It's blinging. It's so blinging. Curtains are shut, which I think means somebody could be sleeping in there. That's our mechanics, by the way, for our heavy vehicle that we live in. We live in a bus, in case you didn't know. Yeah, so some of the so we've been recording for about a year, and I think our very first few episodes we recorded on right here in Seaview. So if you go all the way back to episode 1 and 2 and 3, we were right here to make those recordings. And I think at the time someone had crashed into the back of our bus, and we were waiting for heavy vehicle services across the road there to get the orders from the insurance company to attend to the repairs. So we were just sitting here, parked here, practically, living here because we live in a bus. When I first started the YouTube channel, look at all these balls. Oh, that bag of trash that's under the table, that was here. That was already here before all the carnage happened. I saw it on top of the table the other day. I did this last time there was a massive flood like this too. I walked along this seawall here and just checking out all the carnage and all the trash, and thinking, I wonder if I'll find any treasure. Like any random item that's like, oh cool, I'll keep that. Wow. But I haven't really spotted anything worthwhile picking up and examining yet. There's heaps of cool stuff though. I mean, random things. How did the water pick those big rocks up? That's intense. I wonder how long that car's been parked there, because street sweeper crews have already been through, and if that car must have been there in the flood. It's still got crap all collected under the front of it. So we've had the streets been cleared. I know there's still some carnage on the streets. What is this? Plastic? Yeah, like plastic bin lid thing. Sorry, cyclist guy, if you ever see this video. I should have apologised when it happened. I'll quickly cross this path. The lady across the street with her dog is treating her dog to keep it under control, because probably would love to run over here and talk to us. Good. Quigley. Yeah. Hikoi. Yeah, so I was talking about the street being cleared of carnage. There is places where they haven't got to yet, which is why they've got the cones up here. Stop people driving on the hazards on the road. Quigley, come on. Quigley, hikoi. So see where that little black truck is poking out. That's another branch of the heavy vehicle services that we just saw earlier. And this whole street flooded out, all here, this water, all the way up to the roller doors on these buildings. The storm water outlet from the road is underneath this footpath in this area. So this little drain lid in the footpath here, that's it, that pipe there. Alright, so it's draining out of here into there. But obviously when the tide is so high and ferocious, the water can't go that way because there's no space for it. So it all just collects on the road, and a lot of it runs off the top of the warehouse buildings into the street. Yeah, this seawall here needs serious replenishment. It's definitely starting to let us all down. Cracks in the concrete here is from all the underwash that comes under the path. It's trying to get underneath it. I remember a few years ago when this chunk fell out of the path because of all the underwash undermining the footpath. Shortly after that hole in the path appeared, I noticed that there's scratches in the pavement itself from it, because people sometimes drive their cars through here like absolute, rule breakers. I think I got distracted from talking about the Petone Beach cleanup crew, but I was trying to say earlier that they are planning to come here tomorrow to clean up the rubbish. I told them, well, just so you know, cleanup crews that have already come and started clearing the road. And that's why on the road there's piles of of carnage. It's a nice word, I've said it a few times. We'll call this the carnage episode. Yeah, because they've come along and they've zhuzhed it up into piles. Yes, that's a word, zhuzh. And they come along with the excavators and pick it up with the bucket, chuck it in the back of the truck and take it away. That guy's a friend of mine. I'm glad he didn't stop running to talk to us. It was cool to see him. Just, hey man, carry on running. Good. I guess this trailer's been here since the flood, since before the flood, because the carnage is all collected up underneath it. Come on. Oh. It's not usually a problem in Seaview. Oh, you guys might like to see this. Bunch of motorcyclists on a cruise together, huh? Oh, that guy's bike's almost like a police bike. Radio antenna and a flashing blinky light on it. Oh, maybe they're all being assessed for their license. I did notice that one of them at least was displaying learner license plates. I wonder if that's allowed when the motorcycle driver license assessment guy when he goes to assess them for their license. He obviously can't ride on the vehicle with them, so he has to take his own and follow them around and maybe talk to them on a radio or something and tell them what to do. I don't know how it works, but the thing is, I've never really thought about whether he could assess several riders at once. I assume not, but I might have misread that situation, but it would be interesting if it was possible. Some particularly intense carnage around here. How long have we been recording for now? It's only taken us 20 minutes to walk from the marina to here. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Huh. Oh, that's right, there's a few extra minutes. So I've stopped the recording twice, once by accident and once deliberately. So we're probably at about the 30-minute mark for the recording. I should keep that in mind. Add 10 minutes to the time code that I can see on the screen. I think on one of the recorded dog walks that we did here in Seaview, I noticed that the city had decided to plant some new native trees along the road here. I thought that was quite cool. I was like, oh sweet, new trees. And what else did they do? About a year ago, they replenished the seawall. So it made me wish that they were going to replenish the entire seawall, but they didn't. They only did between here, this bridge, and I guess the next bridge, the one that goes over the river, just between here and there. Maybe they looked at this and considered this was the highest priority. I can tell you something though. I don't think they had much trouble with the flooding over here. I will verify that. You can see there's not a whole lot of carnage. I mean, there's definitely some carnage in the seawall that's being captured by the seawall, which is, you know, pretty much the whole point. I don't do it very often, but sometimes I spin around like that just because it's the easiest way for me to get on the right side of Quigley. Yeah. Don't usually feel compelled to explain it, but that's the reason. I spin around sometimes. I hope you don't get motion sickness, especially any of you viewers that are out there watching in VR. Hey, only because it's possible. Did you know you can watch YouTube recordings in virtual reality? And I'm sure it's just like looking at a 2D screen inside of a virtual reality box, but you know, that's pretty cool. Only because we're making two-dimensional recordings, obviously. But I do notice that it is totally possible to upload 360-degree content to YouTube, and then I can only assume that virtual reality users can watch that in virtual reality. These are the new trees I was talking about. The newer ones are the smaller ones, obviously, and they have the back base. Thanks for the bell. Kia ora. Bing-a-ling bing. I don't know how the recording got stopped earlier. I can only assume something accidentally touched the stop button somehow. Well, I guess we could turn around and go back the other way now, Quigs. What do you reckon? What is that? What is that? It's a hairnet, of all things. I suppose we do have to go back and get the car. I'm glad I figured out how to lock it. I was assuming all the way until that moment that I was going to have to leave it there unlocked. And then I realised when I wanted to leave some personal possessions in the car like I usually do, I was like, damn, I don't feel good about leaving the car unlocked with those things there, and it made me think outside of the square and consider the possibility that maybe there is a way to lock it manually, you know, like people used to do all the time before you had remote locking. So remote locking doesn't work, but that's not the end of the world. It just refuses to lock because of that one door that's not entirely registering as closed in the computer. So on lots of our recordings we do park bench ratings, but because this is our home neighbourhood pretty much, Seaview, I don't rate them. That's somebody else's job. I can't rate them. These are my park benches, more or less. because we live here. We live nearby here anyway. And yeah, I've decided I'm going to sit and have a rest. And to save from boring you, I like to push the pause button, so it doesn't matter. We'll be back in a second. But I'm going to sit here for a few minutes and have a rest. So yeah, as soon as I push this button, I'll be right back at you. Alright, here we go. That's good. Good little rest. A little drink of water while I was off camera. Quigley walkers. I get told off for calling him Quigley because his name is Quigley, 2 syllables, right? And why do you call him Quigley? Quigley, like it's 3 syllables? I don't know, I just like it. I like that. You alright, Quigs? Hikoi otakuri. Look at the difference between the seawalls. This is like right up here, and that one's all devastated. If they want any more clear of a sign on why they should rebuild the seawall, over here, it's all this crab that's coming over the road. On the odd occasion where the weather is so hectic that the sea wants to jump out over the ocean, out of the ocean, onto the land. Now, the thing about this whole area is that it didn't exist once upon a time. All of this land here, built by man. You would run to the puddle quickly, right, when I'm trying to bring your line in. I don't really want to get it wet. Hikoi. Harimai. Yeah. Oh, Quigley. God. Sorry, I'm getting annoyed with the long line tripping me up. Just keep it short. All that carnage is all the way across the road, look. quite sure why there's a big pile of earth here. I feel like someone came and dumped their rubbish here. I guess it's possible that it happened because of the storm. This looks like maybe it did. Where did the grass come from, folks? The sod and the grass. One of my friends contacted me earlier and asked if there was any space in our large bin, very large bin. And my advice was, nah, there isn't. Well, there is a little bit of space, but not a huge amount of space. And he told me that it was because he wanted to dump some green waste into it, if that was a possibility. And I just jokingly said he could just dump it here on Port Road with all of this rubbish that's going to get cleaned up, and then it wouldn't be taking up space in the skip bin. Hey. And then he didn't turn up and put anything into the bin, so it makes me wonder if that's what he did. It makes me wonder if he would have had that idea on his own when he was driving here to come to use the bin. He might have looked at all this carnage and thought, why wouldn't I just dump it in the road with all this other crap? So many people missing out on the opportunity to get rid of their rubbish here. They just dumped it in Port Road right now. The city would pretty much have no choice but to pick it up along with all of this. But anyway, it's a bit of a life hack. It's a naughty life hack. There's been a few times I've seen people turn up with truckloads of rocks and just throw them in here because they must think to themselves, what harm am I doing? The seawall needs replenishing. I might as well do my part. Yeah, there's been a couple of times I've even found statues. I think we've got them on recording, one of the early Do Not Disturb Dog Walk recordings back in the days. I think we did. I think we found some statues anyway, which I think somebody just tossed into here onto the seawall because they might as well, you know. They're like, what am I going to do with these statues that I don't want? I mean, it appears to me that a lot of the seawall is made out of... Yeah. The seawall looks like it's made out of discarded, man-made demolished buildings material anyway. Especially these bricks. That's a dead giveaway, right? Okay. I think it's interesting how people think, oh, I'll go for a ride in Seaview. Like, it's actually a popular cycle riding destination along here. But, you know, when they know that it's currently in this state and they still come and do it anyway, I think that's interesting. I might pop a tyre today, yay! Anyway, I'm sure plenty of people decided against it. But there's still the odd person that didn't. What is that? I thought it was a golf ball, but it's a pretend golf ball. What do you call it? A fake one? Not an actual golf ball, but trying to look and feel like a golf ball. Right. Pine cones, Quigley. Look, it's a pine cone. Yeah, you love pine cones. Good boy. Well, that one there's practically petrified. That lady with the dog is up ahead. As seen earlier in the recording, I should say. I was just testing that branch to see if I could remove it from the pathway, but it's still pretty hard, heartily attached. Yeah, that lady crossed the road. She was over here, but she saw us coming, so she must have a dog that she doesn't want to socialise with people. Alright, speaking of statues, that is one of the statues that I was talking about. It's broken now though. I wonder where the other half of it is. Oh, there it is, in the bushes. I'm just going to verify that. Can I get it out of there? Bit of a sexy one. It's got booty. Is that how it went on? Looks like it. I wonder where the head is. You see a head anywhere, Quigley? He's still obsessing over his pine cone. I'm going to leave that standing there to weird people out. Yeah, this is the exact spot where I found the statues discarded in here. And I ended up standing them all up and making them all look cool. And then they disappeared. I really wasn't expecting one to reappear, but you know, that's how it goes. Quigley's got his pine cone. Wait! Sorry, I was just checking out the balls again. Well, he's doing the same thing that he does when he's got a stick that he likes. He starts being real possessive and trying to get away from me as far as he can. Like it's a game. Like I'm chasing him. He wants me to try and catch him, and he likes that whole game of not wanting to give it to me. We played that with the ball this morning, eh, Quigley? I think it's been many a day since I made a recording. I think it might have been almost 7 days. I think it has been 7 days. I have the goal of recording 4 recordings a week where possible. This past week it's been practically impossible. There's something that's part of our regular routine with making the recordings is that Quigley comes with me to work 2 days of the week, and we travel cross country and stay the night in another city. This week Quigley didn't get to come along, basically because I had to stay in a motel instead of with family in that other city. We usually stay with family, but they were not available, and couldn't take Quigley with me, and I had to stay in a motel for a change, which, wasn't that bad, but the motel doesn't let Quigley come to stay with me, so he had to stay home. And then the other thing is, I thought it was really just as well that he didn't come, because this weather event was happening up and down the country. And so if I had brought him with me, I would have probably wanted to take him for a walk, and the weather was not conducive to that. The weather was absolutely horrible. So in a way, Quigley lucked out. He got to just stay home and be warm and cosy at home with his mama, and I got to go cross country trucking without Quigley for a change, which was honestly a bit of a weird feeling after all these months of it being the routine. So yep, that explains why we didn't do any cross country recordings this week gone by. I know you people that are watching probably don't care, but I care. I care because I want to make as many recordings as possible, and I feel bad when I don't. Also, I believe that YouTube, the algorithm, rewards creators for uploading. I almost think it doesn't care what you upload. I've seen some pretty successful channels uploading the most ridiculous, what's the word? Mundane, like honestly, terrible content. I'm not saying that our content isn't terrible. I mean, it pretty much is, right? Boring. There's nothing really extraordinary about it. I'm not trying to make this like crazy, super awesome YouTube channel. It's just a come along for a dog walk with us experience YouTube channel, and I'm actually quite surprised. I've been running it like an experiment, vlogging these dog walks just to see what happens, and I'm actually quite surprised at how well we are actually doing. I read the statistics that of all the billions of YouTube uploads that exist, there are the most recordings that people put up, most videos that people put up, are lucky to get 40 views. Like most of the content in YouTube, 99% or something like that of the content doesn't get seen. And I'm not saying that we're getting seen more than that, but we are a little bit. I can't believe that just in this first year, one of our little short encounters episodes, which is only like just under 2 minutes long, the view count it's still going up, and right as I record this now, it's getting close to 50,000 views. I can't remember how many months ago we put that up, but it clocked up the first 40,000 views in the first week, and now it's just still attracting views. Yeah, can only imagine that it's because of the words New Zealand Police in the title of the thing. On the topic of the New Zealand Police, they do have their own YouTube channel, and they're actually really popular. The content they make is really excellent too. Like, I'm pretty impressed. So that's cool. Oh, there's that old Dunga police car over there. You see it? Speak of the devil. This is actually, I probably mentioned this in the past, but sometimes I forget to say stuff because I think, I've already told everyone that, but I know nobody's watching every single episode or anything like that. So, yep, the police have a base here for the dive squad. Yep, when people try to hide evidence in the water, somebody's got to go get it. Alright, well, I do believe if I keep recording for much longer, it's going to get to a point where I go overtime on my self-imposed 1 hour limit of recording. And so, I think we're not going to make it all the way back to the car like I wish we could. But that's right, we don't have to. If you want to see the car again, just rewind back to the beginning of this recording. Hey, anyway, might be the last time you see the car on this episode. It's not featured, but it gets seen from time to time, as Quigley and I have used the car to adventure about the countryside. So, yeah. This moment in our YouTube channel history is about saying goodbye to the car, I think. Fingers crossed. They might repair it. We might get our car back. In a way, I don't mind getting a new car. We got tired of cleaning that car, and it needs a good clean. So if we get a new car, that's the same as a clean car. Hey, look, someone left some fancy shoes here. I wonder, they're a bit headed. Yeah, somebody should throw them in the bin. Yep. Look at this place. This is cool, Seaview Marina. People live here in their boats. I'm so jealous. I mean, we live in a bus. I'd like a boat too. I'd like to live here. Park our bus over here. Live in a boat. Live in a bus. Yeah, what a funny idea. You can't just do one or the other, mate. Yeah, we got to say goodbye anyway. I'm glad we're in this cool place while we say goodbye. Goodbye for now. We've had enough recording today, but if you haven't had enough of watching us dog walk, then you just click on our channel and there's plenty more to see. Hundreds of hours of me and this guy's walking around all sorts of usually beautiful, cool places. I tend to avoid street walks and heavy traffic and things like that, trying to keep it to be a lovely experience for you all where possible. Try not to go out in the wind too much when it's a windy day, but I've done that a couple of times, and sorry about the bad audio on those and blah 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 blah. But there's heaps, plenty. When us Kiwis say there's heaps, we mean there's plenty. It's just a weird way that we say it. I'm super conscious of the fact that a lot of you people watching from around the world have no idea about that. I've got to clarify that. Anyway, shut up, Marlon. Sorry, my name's Mr. Free on this YouTube channel, but yeah, my name really is Marlon. I've just given myself a nickname. Mr. Free and Quigley are going to sign off for now. Thank you for joining us on this dog walk. I've never seen anybody use that barbecue. Look at that. Hey, maybe we should come and use it sometime, Quigley. Looks like a coin op, but it's actually free. Just push the button to turn it on. Kapai, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.